Salute. Votes. Emilo latimo mohoye. The day alafia. Divine risings and rotation. Beloved army. Beloved army. Ujima. Collective works and responsibilities. No one came into this world alone. I know that's a catchphrase that we like to bring out there and say, oh, I came in this world, I'm a live, we're born alone, die alone. But in reality, alone would insinuate you had no parent. Even if you consider that parent to be a surrogate from a divine perspective, but if you consider that parent to be a physical parent to be a surrogate from a divine perspective, then again, you weren't alone because your spiritual team was forever present. Your siblings in the spiritual realm were forever present. Your parenting in the spiritual realm was forever present. And alone would insinuate that that parent in the physical realm gave birth to you and abandoned you. And there were no doctors there. There were no nurses there. There was no incubation system. There was no breast. There was no milk. There was nothing. And you had to, from the womb, grind alone to acquire your necessities. Well, I think the biggest fool even knows that that's stupid and not possible. In the animal kingdom, the animals shortly after birth begin to walk because the universe overstands safety measures. And in a predatorial environment, such as the animal kingdom, you have prey and predator. You have to learn how to get away quickly or how to defend yourself quickly. But in the Iman or human environment, the hued environment, the carbonated, melanated at its highest extent, the Haru environment, the physicality merged as one outfit worn by the spirit reality. There's a process. There's a process of dependence, and there's a process of independence, and then there's a process of interdependence. While in reality, the last process was truly before physically coming into this world as an infant. The interdependent part already coexisted, and even inside the infant, once one overstood self, the interdependency already existed because inside the universe called the human body, there are many intricate details that are working in sync to make the bigger picture function. There are many intricate details that have responsibilities that if they come up short in their responsibility, the body falls. Too much strain on something else and everything begins to become dysfunctional. Well, I want you to understand that from a metaphysical as well as a physical perspective, from a philosophical as well as a literal perspective. Because the moment that too much strain is placed on one identity within the community to fix the body of the community, the whole community becomes dysfunctional, diseased. And so understand that sacrifices have to be made that are personal in order for a collective success. And understand that one could become pseudo successful alone, so-called alone, 'cause 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 alone, 'c If you're not printing your own money, making your own clothes, and hunting your own food, and even then, there's a dependency of the food and the herbs and the vegetation that you acquire. Because it didn't grow out of your hand, it grew out of the land. And so that took a whole bunch of other elements in order for that to even sprout its way up. We need each other in order to evolve. We need each other in order to rise. And many may not agree with the realities of reincarnation, even though it stands before your face consistently, and even is told in the religious scriptures, immortality and things of this nature. But I'm gonna speak about that. There's a consequence for the lack of contributing. That even if you escape in so-called death, which is only a transitioning state, your spirit is your only real identity. Your physicality is not a real identity. That's an outfit. When an astronaut goes into outer space, they put on an outfit to maneuver through the elements. The astronaut is not the outfit. The outfit is worn and becomes animated based upon the astronaut. But we are in outer space and we are astronauts and we are in a body. We are in a body-fitting suit, a form-fitting suit. And the suit reflects our inner reality. So the inner reality is the first and foremost reality that expresses itself externally. And so we have to understand that sacrifices in the physicality have to be made in order for the spiritual reality's mission to be truly successful. We are each other's responsibilities. And I'm not talking about a mother and a father who have children and the children becoming the mothers and fathers' responsibility. Many people are responsible for the mother and the father, as well as the mother and the father responsible for many people. The children are just our contribution to this world, to further along that responsible activity, that Ujima activity, you know. And until we begin to understand that we are each other's responsibilities, that we should care and cater to each other and have and comfort each other and have compassion for each other and discipline for each other, admonishment for each other, admiration for each other, the world will continue to spiral into a chaotic state, into a anup state, or enpu, whichever language you would like to go and choose from. We have to focus on the reality that we consist of many elements in order to make an element. Just like when we're making products, those products consist of many elements in order to make that product. Sadly, we don't give honor to the elements. We give whole honor to the product, but the product would have no existence if it wasn't for the elements. The person would have no existence if it wasn't for the collective that came before him or her, that came during the time of him or her, that comes after the time of him and her, because there's no time separation in reality. That's something that Western man has created. In reality, the past, the present, the future are all coexisting. They are in manifestation, they are in activity in the very moment. The next second is a new future. The next minute is a new future. This moment is a new future. But the past is the wisdom that makes the present relevant to turn the future into its magnificence. But listen, let us become more responsible. And responsibility doesn't necessarily consist of you doing something financially for somebody. doesn't consist of necessarily you doing something material for anybody. It could be a word. It could be an expression. It could be you carrying out your life intentionally in front of other people so they can see what life is supposed to be like. Not carrying out your personal preferences, but carrying out your ancestral preferences. And what you mean, Parag, by ancestral preferences? I mean those preferences that affect the collective in the most positive light. Not the things that you may like that may cause other people discomfort, because this is the concept of ascension. This is the reality of ascension, is to get yourself into a space mentally, physically, and spiritually where you see beyond your preferences and realize that your true self is interconnected to everything. And so all your preferences have to be re-established or remolded to be balanced, harmonic, in order, in sync with everybody else's levels of evolution. Now, that doesn't mean that you lose your identity. It means some of those awkward things you like, or some of those awkward things you dislike, you start basing them on, you start separating them based upon relative and absolutes. And the relatives become less and less relevant, and the absolutes become more and more relevant. In the Bible, they say, and this concept from that perspective is, when you decrease and divinity increases. Well, that's the ultimate goal, because the divinity is the true you. The you that decreases is the you that this world has formatted. Stay focused, stay positive, stay around focused and positive people. Never lose who you are once you know who you are. Never sacrifice who you are for nothing and nobody. Don't just wake up. Get out of the bed and stay out of the bed and assist others in rising from that slumber. Alafia farana wo munife rela nidi wo pe akasi makayiri onyon kupona kakayiri en frama. Umuntu inga bantu lai ni waju koriseke. Fíjate, ya soto weto faraka waji. Nakupenda usifiwe. Nakupenda usifiwe. Nakupenda usifiwe. Salute, peace and motivation, wholeness and motivation. Have an illuminating day. I love y'all. Immortal.